the year.
Oh gosh.
And the controversial.
He did not disappoint at all tonight.
No, the controversial performance by MJF tonight. I know a lot of snowflakes out there. I'm a softie myself, but guys, MJF was just being his character, man. I know he was taunting poor Brodie Lee Jr. tonight. I felt bad. I wanted to, at one point I wanted to jump through the TV and tell MJF, leave the kid alone. But thank God, Brodie Lee was able to crack that kendo stick across MJF's head.
Right.
Got the ultimate comeuppance. Man, MJF is so good at being bad, isn't he?
Oh my gosh, is he ever? I mean, he didn't win unanimously the best heel from Dynamite Download for a reason. I mean, just from the entrance alone. I mean, he came out with the Puerto Rican tights.
I love that.
And just the way he's just walking, he's got the headband on, and I knew he was going to be true to himself, as he should be, and it worked so well. I mean, just look at this. I mean, this guy this whole match. After, like I was texting you guys, I said, as soon as this match over, I was like, okay, that's the show. I mean, what more? I mean, that stole the show, that match. And then
top to bottom. Let's get into it real quick. I mean, let's before we get into the rest of the night, before we get into the match itself, you showed the picture. MJF's gear, like that whole. Let's focus. Johnny Silver had a special tribute gear. And you're showing it up. You're going to show it up here right now. Yeah, Johnny Silver had a Brodie Lee tribute gear, and truly, I want to see Johnny in that more often. I thought it was awesome.
Keep it forever. I mean, we've mentioned it before. I mean, we were tweeting him out, and he needs to rock that gear from moving forward on. I mean, Brodie got it for him as a rib, and he looks great in it.
He looks awesome in it. He looks great in that gear.
Yes.
So that's one, and then man, I'm all for MJF, Santana, and Ortiz.
Yeah.
That
worked well.
Crew they are on fire right now, man. Like, and I loved MJF's gear. If you were following him on social media, MJF again, his antics tonight should not surprise you. He is always in character. Even he cut a pre-Dynamite promo about how. This everybody thinks this is going to be a feel-good show about the Dark Order, but anytime MJF's on television, it's about him. MJF is so good at being bad, man. I loved it. I really, really, really like. I want to throw this in there before we it gets off. We go on to the next match. Seeing Santana and Ortiz back out there, brother. You mentioned it previously. We got a chance to see Butcher and the Blade in the ring. Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, Young Bucks, Private Party. I mean, there's a lot of tag teams on this division that are awesome. But Santana and Ortiz are at the top of my list. I mean,
they all have been for a long time.
Yep. I love my teams, the FTR, the Young Bucks. Those guys are great. But Santana and Ortiz are low key. One of the best teams in all of wrestling. Their look, their gimmick, their ability to go in the ring. You and I both love how entertaining they are. Ortiz's facial expressions are always on point. He's maturing as the Inner Circle is starting to see conflict within its group. But Santana, that dude. Santana is the truth, man. That guy, you follow him on social media, you know that he's the real deal. He's a real, that's the type of man that I want to be. He's the real deal outside the ring. And I've been saying this for a long time, man. Like, there are certain teams where you see, all right, best friends. It jumps right out at you. Trent is a workhorse, right?
Yep.
I've been saying it for a long time, dude. Anytime you watch Santana in the ring, I've watched him in dark on singles matches. You watch him in the ring with Ortiz in these tag matches. Dude, Santana is one of he is one of the best workhorses in this company. When it comes to actual just in-ring work, I'm always impressed whenever Santana is in the ring, man. That dude is smooth. He exudes professionalism in everything he does. I'm very impressed by how he carries himself. And I think there are very bright things in the future for the Inner Circle, even though we are anticipating, turmoil in the group. I really was a fan of what I saw out of MJF and and Santana Ortiz. I don't know about you, but I'd like to see them teaming up more often in the future.
It worked so well, and watching Santana and Ortiz on Dark last night, they were very impressive. A nice, solid match, very impressive ring, and I was happy to see them back working together. They got some great chemistry. I really love when Santana does that suplex, almost like Spinaroonie Booker T
Yes,
style
yeah, the
breakdance leg,
trios. Yep,
and then they come in, and then Ortiz comes in, and they double suplex walk forward. I think that move is great. Jericho said it too. How Santana went through a lot of adversity in 2020 as well. I agree. This combo, this trio worked really well. But it was surprising on paper to see them lose to the Good, the Bad, the Hungie, but
of course.
it just, context, it worked, and everything, because of the distraction and all that, it all worked so well. It was booked so well, executed so well. Back to the whole match itself, the ring gear on Silver was spot on. We just got to keep it going. And the papers, the Hangman with the papers, and then Silver with the papers.
Was so good.
So dang,
that was one of the
good. It was
more subtle, hilarious, feel good moments of the show.
Oh yeah, you gotta. If you didn't know what it had to do with, you have to watch the BTE Brodie special.
And hopefully hopefully more eyes were on the product tonight, and that inspired some people to get into BTE SPD, because our love for the Dark Order has organically grown over the course of the year. A lot of it due to BTE. So much of what we've seen, the personalities of these characters that we get to see week in, week out, really it gets developed on BTE. And I want to sneak that in there, people. If you're not watching BTE every week,
you're missing
I have
out.
a feeling
Monday
most of our fan base is, but if you're not, you really need to check that out. I mean, it's great content.
I completely agree. I look forward to it every week. They do a phenomenal job. And honestly, like you said it best, if I was not following BTE, I would still enjoy the Dark Order, but I wouldn't love the Dark Order the way we love the Dark Order now. I mean, you're getting there because of BT, they're getting so many more opportunities and so much more following, and we're going to just help grow the following with Join Dark Order January, which as they yes, of course,
every time you say it, you got to throw that hand up.
You have to, because I mean we've been members of the Dark Order following for a long time.
You were in longer than I was. I was a holdout, but
I loved how so to me, not to steal the thunder, but I will talk about it later. But, my top performer was John Silver because of this match. Everything from top to bottom. His emotion, which how could you not be emotional? His ring attire, his finisher, how he took the finisher. He took Brodie Lee's finisher. He did it. He did the moves. That seesaw springboard flip with MJF. I have no idea what to even call that, because I was just mind blown. I'm like, wait, where's he going? What's this? And like, I had to rewatch it over and over again. There was a GIF and I kept seeing it over and over.
I know.
And it was just outstanding for everything about it. So I just loved the way it was finished. And then the biggest surprise of all was Eric Redbeard. And oh my gosh, I almost jumped out of my seat and just was like, yes, this was just so great. I mean, obviously we're huge Wardlow fans, but this was so great. It didn't make anyone from the inner circle look weak.
No.
But it just, I hope for the sake of him as a wrestler, Eric Redbeard, Rowan, as we know him in WWE, he is in AEW. I don't want him to be a replacement of Brodie, but it could be tied into as a tribute, as an honor to be part of this. Like, I think he has a place here, and there was a lot of rumors in the past. More than
fair, right? I mean, like, if you think about it, bro, like,
he's never going to replace him, as he doesn't want to.
If you were best friend, if you and I, like, Dynamite Download, right? I mean, if something happened to me, you would do everything you could to try to make sure that this didn't die with my legacy, right? Like, and I know this is a small example, but like,
right,
Eric and Luke had, or Brodie, they had a relationship that really was paved through years. I mean, Luke Harper or Brodie Lee's spent many years by this man's side.
Yeah.
And when you develop that bond, that brotherhood, you're going to take it personally that you don't want his legacy to fade. You don't want what he helped build to fall apart. So, I don't know where Eric's place is going forward.
He looks huge.
But I hope that he does get that. I agree with you. Like, it's not a replacement of Brodie, but it's a recognition that this is a brother of mine, and and who's gonna fight harder than Eric to make sure that the Dark Order continues to honor.
That's a good point.
Right?
Who would want it to push harder than him?
Who would be more? I mean, this man would be willing to sacrifice whatever it took to make sure that this group that really Brodie crafted, he is the leader of he was the exalted one. He's going to do everything in his power to make sure that group is successful, and that all these people inside this group continue to thrive. I think that there's a place there, and I think you look. I mean, and you look at Eric. I mean, the dude is, especially on the AEW roster. I mean, AEW has this year done a nice job of infusing some bigger, talented, big men in the roster. Miro came on board. We got to see Wardlow get a little bit more shine over the course of the year. But when you look at Rowan, Redbeard, when you look at Eric, he's legitimately there are only so many men that size, and I think that his presence alone would go a long way.
He just manhandled Wardlow tonight.
Well said, bro.
Who could do that on the roster right now? Look at this.
I mean, look at that choke. I mean, really, look at the height of that choke slam. I mean,
I can maybe get Marco Stunt that high, but other than that, I pride myself in being pretty strong, but like to put Wardlow that high.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about Wardlow as one of the most impressive big men on AEW.
He's our breakout star of 2021, we predict.
Right. I mean, Wardlow, and again, it was nice to see Wardlow show up tonight, right? I mean, we got to give Wardlow some love. It was nice to see him show up tonight. But that's a great point. And I think that going forward, there's that we should think that maybe, just maybe, there's a place for Eric in the Dark Order. I like where your head's at. I
support it 100%.
I like where your head's at with that, for sure.
I support it.
One of the things I want to go as we transition into the next match, I'm going to say this was an elite from me. I think it goes without saying. Anytime MJF is on screen, it's going to be hard to vote against that.
Yep, I agree.
I was a big fan. This is really the first time we got to see MJF, Santana, and Ortiz together. So I was a big fan of that.